I made the executive decision to just go ahead with the motorsports.
Ooh.
We got this nice heat sink because, you know, Rob's going to be driving the car.
Earlier, Isaiah was like, you know, we need the motorsports version because Billy's going to be driving the car. And I'm like, that's a weird way to say my name.
Also, with this, we will never, ever, ever have an issue. You will most likely never, ever really have an issue with the other ones. But this is just some really good peace of mind. And they look so cute. And look how tiny they are. Look. Doot, doot, doot. Why are you throwing things?
I was doing the model walk.
That was sexy. I saw that.
He asked me, what size is this flange? I told him it was 65 millimeters. And then I said, hey, the inner side is 44 millimeters, 45. And he comes back with the wrong wastegate. We've got the right one.
We have everything that's extra for the FC here. I went to Turbo Smart / Speedflow and they gave me a nice little goodie bag. They love me over there. I can't even go over there with Rob because I don't get the same energy. It's just, they're like, oh, what do you need, Rob? I show up, they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, man, how's the family? Yeah. We have a wonderful relationship with people over at Turbo Smart, and they have wonderful products. So it goes hand in hand. We already unboxed that, but that's there. We got this thing. I think we already recorded that. We got this thing. We just got a bunch of things, and I'll let you guys put those on, so I'll see you guys when something.
It's at this moment, I feel like we should have went with a nicer engine. That is so wild looking.
We could fresh. Hey, DJ these things out. Are they? Wait, what? Oh, this thing isn't even center. What a sham. No, it's most likely not designed to be center, but I thought for whatever reason in my head it looks center. But so these guys probably do something like this. Maybe they both go this way. Maybe. Who knows? Something like that.
Oh, that thing's photo worthy. The motorsport version's sick.
Just chilling.
I know what you feel like. That doesn't deserve to go on this car. I know.
I didn't feel that way.
I feel that way.
I felt that way when I told you shouldn't do a Turbo 2 engine.
I know.
But now we're already here. But now the engine's... You didn't even paint the engine. What were you doing all day yesterday?
He didn't let me.
It's got to go into the engine bay, so we're too busy for that. You know what I'm really excited about? I want to show you guys this. With this twin volute, this thing's going to have some nasty response. This is where the engine mount is on a FC. On an FD, it's on the rear iron. On an FC, it's in the center. And so you have all the twisting going on from a very thin iron. Now with all of the doweling that we've done, this center iron is now carrying strength to the other ends of the motor. That should actually make this motor pretty damn solid. Okay, Mr. Smarty Pants, where's that gonna go?
They point at each other. They cancel each other out, right?
The sound waves, the air pressure waves cancel each other out. We've got probably the nicest welded thing in this entire shop, which is my engine holder on, and we're ready to go. I'm waiting on the guys, and we're gonna pick this thing up and drop it back in. So I don't know if I'm missing something, because it could be me. It could be 100% me, but I feel like these are a little too long. We're gonna have 8 hood pins, 4 on each side.
Yeah. Well, so I did this so I went to cut them down to perfect size, and you're over here. All I hear is criticize, criticize, criticize. I stood all day in the front of the line looking for these bolts.
I feel like the monster right now.
Have you ever done an FC engine?
Years ago.
You have to get in there. You have to hip thrust it in there.
Oh no.
It won't go in if you don't do that. It's like a mandatory thing. I've never seen another engine going without someone hopping in there doing that. Get in there.
No. I will show you.
It's a tradition. No, I don't want you to do it differently. I just want you to do it the traditional.
If we do it the old way, we'll never grow.
No.
We're hitting something. That's more.
If you're in there, you'll be able to feel more.
There we are. See, don't even have to do any of that.
That's the point. All right, since people don't want to do it, I got you.
It's already in. But this thing looks way cleaner. working this hard has us focused very closly on the cars and not necessarily on the safety of the shop. For example, right now that door is wide open. My head's buried into this fender well. I can't see much else, but you know who's watching out for me? SimpliSafe. The variety of things that SimpliSafe is monitoring while we're here, while we're gone, while we're partially here, while we want to make sure nobody else comes and joins us, all of those sensors are constantly monitoring and keeping us safe. Whether it's the smoke detector, the glass break sensors, obviously the cameras with motion detecting, as well as the door entry sensors, temperature sensor, the flooding sensors, you name it, SimpliSafe has it. I signed up for SimpliSafe before I had worked with them in this capacity, and I will tell you, it is truly simply and obviously very safe, but it is so simple to set up. The process is streamlined, straightforward. You activate it, you activate each of your devices, and you are monitoring. And like I said before, I use it at home to monitor the cats when I'm away, and of course, while I'm here, well, make sure she's safe as well. Save 40% or more on your SimpliSafe security system during this holiday sale. Visit simplisafe.com/RobDahm to learn more. We got a bag of Takis, and maybe it's been a minute since I've had them, but they are like super hot fire. Like, it's the normal bag, and I don't know what's going on, but my entire life is on fire. The cool thing is that we put the full carpet in. It's the OEM carpet, black, that is only for the 10th anniversaries. I put it in there, A, to get it away from the cat, because she kept trying to sleep on it when I had it on the IndyCar, and B, I just wanted to see it. And now we went and took the whole roll cage out because it was messing with the carpet. And, I mean, just look. That is just beautiful. The plan right now is to get the whole dash back in, but I'm going to take a couple pictures so I can remember certain wires that the previous owners had cut and did. I can make sure I can trace them without the dash in place. We'll put the main dash back in, and then we have to do the whole thing with the main dash, center consoles, and then finally we can put the seats back in. Taking out the roll cage saved us probably 50 pounds. This car is not going to be in situations where that roll cage is going to be utterly necessary. It did reduce my ability to have a true 5-point harness, so I'm a little bummed out that I did that, but it was just in the way. We would have to start cutting other things to make the roll cage work with the interior, and I'm not about that life. So we're going to get the stock seats back in last, but watch how quickly this thing just instantly looks like a brand new car. One of the biggest problems I have, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it, is what would you put in the A-pillar? These gauge pods, what would you put on there nowadays? Now I've got all of those on the ECU, or I've rerouted the dash to do the right thing. I'm lost. So I don't know what gauges I would want to put on there. It makes me kind of sad, because that's certainly where I came from, was having sick gauges. Much better. I'm just setting that piece right there for now. So I will leave this empty. There. Put this back. I'm gonna dust this thing off a little bit. There are a couple broken clips I'm just gonna have to make peace with, but not too many. Not too many at all. Way less than I would have. One of my favorite moments. Steering wheel is looking good. What's really wild about the Turbo 2, at least particularly the 10th anniversary, maybe, I'm sure most Turbo 2s do this, but that the FD doesn't. You don't have this on an FD. Yeah, FDs you can't adjust the steering wheel at all.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
You can't pull it forward or backward.
Nope,
either?
you get what you get.
Does this one move forward? And
No,
backward?
it's just up and down. And this is the, future spot of the hydro or paddle shift, sequential shifter, or just the stock e-brake. With the amount of power and response this car's gonna have, I'm gonna break the drivetrain on accident. It's more than likely meant to hold the ball in the center, but right now it's holding us back. So I'm assuming that this would go over. Oh, oh my god, that's the actual shifting assembly? What the hell is going on here? That's a weird one. I've gotten it in a better spot, but I had to go in deep, and unfortunately, look at this.
Ooh.
Something's broken in pieces there. I think it was probably, there's normally a little like nylon boot on this, but I don't even know if that's metal. It's all like chunks of long gone plastic. It must have been like a retainer, or like I said, a nylon thing that it looks like this. Goes around this, looks like a little boot, and it just prevents vibrations. But I'm just going in there and just grabbing whatever I can.
So Rob guaranteed me I wouldn't be able to get this fuel pressure regulator on the firewall.
This is toxic.
And
This is irrelevant, erroneous,
and just look how clean
actually false.
this mount from TurboSmart is. This thing is perfect. Look how small, compact. I put 2 nut sets on the firewall. There has been multiple times he's doubted me, like the A Infinity last time. Every time he doubts me, I just do something better than what I originally thought. Like it's just
I believe you'll just push you harder.
your haters are your motivators or something like that. So with that bracket, this has a notch at the bottom of it. Right here, you see that flat notch? You just open this guy up, put it over, and then it locks into place. So look, in there just like that. Grab this guy underneath. And there you go. Even with this shitty thing in the way. Look how clean that is. Remember he said he guaranteed me?
Yeah.
That's money back guarantee, I hope. So here we are making the speed flow fittings again, and these things are just too easy to make. I feel like it's unreal. I gotta get that thing matched up. Look. Brand new. Look at that. Here we have the first line made, and this thing a little -6 for the return. And this thing is so tiny and so cute. But this is just gonna go straight from my hard line to the fuel pressure regulator, and this goes back into the surge tank. So that's into the hard line, and this is into the regulator, and that's gonna be just like that. Look how clean that guy is.
Chris, show the camera what you're excited about.
This air pump, and look at this little air filter on it. What the heck is this thing? This is the air pump from the FC, right?
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm glad nobody helped you on that. I'm really impressed.
I told him what it was. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad I got it right.
So what that does, that pumps clean air into the exhaust, so for the evap system and smog and what they tried to do back in the day, but that's obsolete. Nobody cares about that anymore.
The previous owner and owners were actually pretty damn meticulous, and they did include all of this. So that's the power steering pump, tons of pulleys, tons of tensioners.
This is labeled passenger side, under balance.
I greatly appreciate that. And then the other bucket underneath it, battery tray, 1001 Summit stickers.
The OEM Turbo 2 thing. Yeah. Nice. Vintage.
We probably accidentally replaced a lot of this stuff already because we didn't go through this in time. Air conditioner, power steering. We've got some overflow tanks for like the windshield wipers. That would have been helpful. When I've already unboxed it before I got to you guys, you know that I'm super excited about it. So I put them back in the box so we can get a real quick unboxing. The mecca, the center of what I think of when I think of rotary reliability. It's obviously not the only piece, but full function makes this whole kit. This is going to be all for the 10th anniversary, and we'll go over each of these pieces. The way all this is just packaged so clean. This I'm really impressed with because they made a major update to this since the last time I had one of these, and we'll go over that more. This is for back pressure filtering. This is what I needed so badly. Look at that. That's so sick. That's the timing. All the timing right there. That requires this right here. And there's the little cap, primary fuel rail, and then push fittings for the steel fittings. Oh, they even include a weld-on bung. Kind of a really good working combination here. These are 1050s for my primaries and 2600s for secondaries. So the 1050s can run regular fuel without a problem and can flow everything we need to do. But then when you step it up to ethanol, you still have great drivability, quick response. Then the 2600s are for the business end of this insanity. They will just dump tons of fuel when you need it. And so like on the rotary vet, for example, I think I have 1300s primary, which still idle really well, but then 2600 secondary. And it seems to be a phenomenal combo for the stock manifolds. This is, of course, the showstopper. If we didn't have this, we'd be in some serious trouble. The stock setup works well, I guess, but I don't want to use the stock setup. I want to use something with this sort of accuracy. 36 tooth wheel, it has this spot right here to know when the wheel has started over again. So you got some really nice granular control over your timing. Then requires this to block off the old timing setup. This is the most important part of this kit right here. This sensor is a 2-wire sensor. So you'll see either 2 wires or 3 wires. This is the most critical sensor for the entire car. It senses metal going by, and each of these teeth makes a little spike, and you use that signal to tell exactly where your engine's at. So that sort of reliability is what we need to make this thing work. This is the same thing of reliability applied to the fuel system. Nice clean fuel rails. Well, they make a really nice low profile one for the FDs. This is an excellent one for the FCs. Secondary rail here. It's really not too common. I don't think I'm realizing that people upgrade these Turbo 2 motors as much as they do FD motors. They just are inherently weaker. And what's nice about this is that all the O-ring surfaces are all clean. We don't have to worry about fuel leaking. They're meant for these. The injectors come with the full function little purple bosses. So the height's correct for these rails with the height of the bolts and everything. So then over here, we've got something that has become a very important sensor for me while we test new turbos. It's really just a stainless steel filter material inside of this. And that's preventing all the nasty exhaust gases from hurting the sensor that's on the other end of this filter. Oil, yet again, another lifeblood of these rotary motors. This oil pedestal, I run on almost every single one of my cars, but it has one more feature on this newer one that I am very, very happy with. Outside here, you can see that little hole through there. That's dirty oil. Dirty oil can come in through here on the back of the motor. Dirty oil can come in from the bottom of the motor, go up through here. Regardless, once it goes through the filter element up here, inside of this is clean oil. So clean oil normally comes straight down and goes through here down into the rear bearing of the engine. But they added this hole on this side, so now we can tap off of the filtered oil here, run it to the front bearing if we're going to do external oil mods, or run it to the turbo, for example. And so everything can get clean oil from the rear pedestal, and that makes me a very, very happy person. What's nice is that we're going to have pressure sensor, temperature sensor, and then the stock Turbo 2 sensor adapted inside of here, so that way the dash also works.
I'll show you guys how clean and OEM++. The speed flow fittings just look amazing, and I'm working my magic over here. These all come out of the surge tank, and they're black stainless. I actually didn't know, but this is industry's first. They're black stainless hose. So this is actually going to come up over here, get zip tied up here. Once it's all said and done, it's going to be hard to even see because it looks very OEM, like the black makes it look nice. And then it comes over here. There's a hard line right here. Chef kiss. Everything's going to be out of the way of the rotating assembly. Look real nice, OEM tug, and we'll never even think about it ever again.
I want to introduce Neil. Now, you guys may remember when I first got the T56 Magnum faceplated, so the dog ring transmission, I was talking to a guy named Neil, and I was telling him how streetable the transmission was as it was grinding and slamming. Well, Neil's a good friend of mine for the longest time, but we haven't met in person until now. And so
You're a lot baller than I thought. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm out.
It is refreshing. 'Cause, like you get like extra light from over here.
So I'll tell you on the same token of that,
Uh-huh.
Rob told me, I asked him what size shirts you need.
I'm getting big, dude. I got 2 X.
So we gave you the extra alpha, extra girth.
Okay.
And then
I
I
need
got him
extra girth now.
I got him the small. Look at-
oh, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, what?
No, these guys have been inducted into the Hotel 7 group, which is the weirdest group of people you can ever meet and know, and this and
Hey,
that. but-
hashtag real news.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
so
no more fake stuff
Yep.
from these guys.
for those of you guys that see this was a group that hated me and I hated them. When really, in reality, I just hated them. It was when we were building the 4-rotor. It was something that was just kind of a misunderstanding, and yet so this is one of those moments where you end up loving the thing that you thought you were working against all this time, and it's actually just a really good group of rotary
100%
owners that just are very passionate about what they do.
They did say it was impossible.
So we did it anyway.
This beautiful piece of work is ready to go into the car full time. Final installation is going to be now. You guys are going to see how easy it is. There we go. Yep. Well, that's not going anywhere. This is going to be our filter before the tank, so that way the surge tank doesn't get any gunk in it from the brand new tank, just in case there is any problems. This guy's gonna sit up there like that.
Not impressed. It's all droopy.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. Stock FD, the original fuel filter is above the gas tank on the back side that way. It is the worst placement in the entire world. And it's not like it has these nice AN fittings like all these. No speed flow. It is like clips where you try and use your pliers to try to hit them and then they slip off the one clip and it pops back open and closed. Absolute painful. Ask any FD owner that's worked on their car, their fuel filter is the worst thing. This is the second fuel filter. We are double filtering.
This is the first one.
The tank is gonna send us precious fuel, but you know, the tank is the tank, even though that one's brand new. This will filter up to 16 microns out into our baby surge tank. So our surge tank pump isn't bringing in crap. It'll still filter all the way down to 6 microns. You guys are used to watching this lens, and we had to run it on this monster because this lens doesn't stabilize. And so you'd get constant shaking. Well, we just upgraded to that lens, which is a little bit cheaper, but check this out. A little bit wider, that gets us all the in-car shots that we're looking for, and yeah, see? Stable.
As you can see, I have all my speed flow fittings over here. It is chaos for my brain. It is really hard to plan all this out ahead of time, but I am doing it. But one thing I wanted to show you guys of why I am now like a speed flow forever person is they make it so easy to put these together and foolproof. The quality is just amazing. This black stainless braided hose, that's the first actual black stainless braided hose in the industry, which is absolutely phenomenal. It also looks really good. But one thing I want to show you guys is the difference between this is speed flow. You see how tight this 90 is and how organic looking it flows, and then this is most other companies. You see how this is glued in or epoxy. I'm not 100% sure how these are made, but I know this is a one-piece setup, and then this is obviously put together. And you can just see quality of something side by side. That's a huge difference. But another thing is the generic ones are built like this, where you have to slide the tube over it with the braid, and when you do it, the braid frays and it gets stuck in there, and you have to pull that thing all the way up in here. Kind of a hassle to force this all the way in the tube, and then you just tighten this all the way down, and this tightens up against the taper. That has worked for us in the past, and I'm not saying that's a bad way, but all I'm saying is that the way they make this, almost effortless. So you take this guy off, you slide this over the hose like that. So I mean, look how easy that is. You take off the collet, you slide the collet over the PTFE on the inside. You just gotta make sure that is cut 90 and straight. So you slide this in between the braid and the PTFE. This goes over it, you tighten this down. This actually slides in there, and you just tighten it up, and it is good to go. It's literally effortless and really, really, really well put together.
I have some really cool things to unbox, which I've already unboxed some of them. This is my #1 favorite random thing. I bought this from ATP Turbo. It's a 2-piece flange, and what this is meant for, a blow-off valve flange for an HKS super sequential blow-off valve. That obnoxiously loud, I can't help it, but for the FC, I need to do this. I need this in my life. All the stuff from Turbo Smart, all of their blow-off valves, their wastegate, all that stuff is insanely top-notch, but this is obnoxious turbo surge. That's a much smaller hole, and with the new modern gear, it's way more air gonna be there. So you'll might hear some tu-tu-tu-tu-tu, which is not good. It's not bad, but it's not good. But I just need to hear this sound, so I got the flange for that. This is a fun little attempt. Some of you guys were recommending me to try low dollar motorsports or something like that. This is not, I bought all this stuff. It is what it is. This is a sensor for detecting metal. And why I want this is the stock setup on the Turbo 2 does not have a speed sensor. It has a mechanical gear that drives the speedometer. So the speedometer is literally a cable spinning around inside of a sheath telling you, hey, this is how fast it's going out. So we have to improvise, and so I'm gonna make this count the number of times the drive shaft is moving around. There's 4 chunks of metal on it, and I'm hoping that they can kind of detect as a pulse, and this thing can sense that. So we know how fast the drive shaft's moving, so we know how fast the wheels are spinning, so we can do boost by gear, traction control, and log what the car is doing at what time. Speaking of that, here's another thing I wanted to try on this car that we ultimately will have 4 of on the 4-rotor. This is an infrared temperature sensor. It's all the way up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and what I want to do is tell how hot the tires are getting to know what am I doing with traction. Are they getting a little too hot or whatever? You can measure anything with infrared temperature sensing. This is another thing we have it on the 3-rotor. We haven't used it right, but we're going to. Brake pressure sensor. So this is a normal pressure sensor, but it's up to 1600 PSI. So a realistic brake pressure is up to 2000, 1600, 2000. So when we're driving this car on the track, we know how much brake pressure you're pressing, but if the brakes start to fade, we can also log that. Temperatures of things, watching the tires get too hot, the brakes get hot, whatever. We can measure all of that stuff now. So I want to log that while the car is actively performing